Hello, creatives, community, and kind folks. Welcome to RPG with DBJ. I'm your host, DBJ, and before we get into our usual, before, after our gaming content, I thought we would talk about a year in retrospective. Unfortunately, wasn't able to get back the way I wanted to. Had a great time for New Year's, celebrated 2 birthdays, my wife included, and New Year's on a cruise. I'm your gray-haired, geeky grognard, so that's kind of my thing. Cruising, and came back with the crud. And if you guys have ever had the crud, it's like that half cold, it doesn't go away. So I had to delay coming back live. But I thought we would talk about some things that have happened at the end of the year and get into it. So first, let's get through the intro and then get into our little bit of rant. Let's have a little fun and get some things off of our chest. And we will talk about the non-clickbaity click title that I have for this video, because it's not clickbait. We're really going to talk about it. How do you like that? Kind of cool. All right, so again, creatives, community, and kind folks, welcome to RPG with DBJ. I'm your geriatric grognard grandfather with the gray beard here, and we're going to talk about, let's consider the title of the video, D&D anger for YouTube Algo. You know what? It's crazy. And one of the things that's crazy, I think, within our own community and society in general is part of it is our fault. And now let me phrase this I live by a mantra that try to take as much responsibility for the things that happen to us as much as possible. And there are plenty of things in real life that are out of our control, but the things that are in our control are our fault. And there has been this end of year trend of some big YouTube channels that have announced them shutting down. And there's some other YouTube channels that just faded away. I remember Taking 20 faded away more than a year ago, as well as WebDM and some other pretty big personalities that hit the scene and then disappeared. And there are many others who were supporters of them that were talking about how the YouTube's algorithms are basically, have been explained that they're shutting down channels because of the content that they're creating. It's crazy. Yeah, I'm with you there. Yeah. Oh, you're absolutely right. Shy Squads, remember how much different everything used to be back when we met in the heyday of the brigade back in 2011. Yeah, back when the Algo wasn't at yeah. Oh man. When I say big channels, I'm talking like 10,000, 50,000, 100,000 subscribers. There is How to Be a Great GM, Taking 20, WebDM. I might even look some of these up to see if they're if the channel is still there, and see if I can get some subscriber numbers. D&D Shorts is another one, and these YouTubers. Remember, YouTube is not just. I look at it like social media, right? Like I look at it like I don't look at it, and for me, YouTube isn't any different for me than like Facebook or Instagram or something like that. I don't look at it as a profession. I earn so little in YouTube revenue that I tried to shut down all of the revenue earning things in YouTube because this channel will never be big. YouTube will never push me, and in some ways, YouTube kind of ignores me over here in the corner. But social media is a way for people to earn money. And so these individuals, if you start to affect how they are able to promote, recruit, and keep their viewership high and get that ad revenue into it. And of course, the side part of ad revenue is having a Patreon, selling products, and things of that nature. It can be pretty difficult. And yeah. Well, there are ways. So you know, here is the. I don't like to point blame at people, because there are circumstances. But let's be honest, it's kind of our fault. And when I say our fault, it's our fault as consumers in general, and it's our fault as gamers. All right, so we know that over the past 2 years, there's a lot of channels, and you can take a thumbnail. Now, watch me describe this, right? You take a thumbnail, and you have a person's face on it, usually the creator, but not always. And the face is like wide mouth, or angry and pointing, or googly eyed, like you take you do the fisheye lens on the eyeballs, or and then you take a red arrow and it curves over and pointing at something, and you have a description in it that's either a question that is kind of rhetorical, or you have like flames on top of a logo, which is what I did, right? You've got the guy like angry with the flames and WotC and whatnot, and you have something like D&D WotC destroying, woke culture crushing, or something like that, right? And they get clicked. And the algorithm, the way the process works, despite how many times people like to say things, but we lie to each other. And they'll say, I don't like clickbait. And guess what? The clickbait works. So let's look up how to be a great, how to be a great GM. And let's share this. Let's get some of these let's share these channels here. So this is how to be a great GM, and I wish I could zoom in on this. I am subscribed, 238,000 subscribers. Let's go to the channel. There we go. Guy Flanders, I believe is his name. I was trying to remember it while we were doing this. I was stumping before I got to it. Yeah, 238,000 subscribers, just over 1,200 videos, and in his goodbye speech, mentioned he went to in the UK, went to the offices at YouTube, and they told him point blank, yeah, we're not going to be pushing your content. What's your new content going to be? Crazy. Let's look up WebDM. Now, WebDM's been going for a while. And I'm probably not for the exact same reasons. But if we go over to WebDM, 183,000 subscribers, only 359 videos, but WebDM kind of rose to prominence. I do own Web Weirdlands. It was a book. Did I do a review of it? Not sure. Yeah. Hot girl's face in the thumbnail. Yeah, it's so funny. Yeah. Standard issue thumbnails. A YouTuber in a question mark making. Yeah. Yep. You've seen them. Oh, what? you see, looking off to the corner, like, look at that. It's a whole thing, right? Let's see. Is it D&D Shorts? I think it's D&D Shorts. There it is. D&D Shorts, 500.
Hello and welcome to D&D with a Twist. The show where we take a D&D thing, it could be a class, it could be a race, It could be mechanics, it's mechanics, and put a fresh spin on it for you to use in your game.
There we go. D&D Shorts, over 500,000 subscribers, says goodbye. So another one, taking 20, hopefully tasking, taking, I believe it's taking 20. There we go. What happened to him? 272,000 subscribers. And I should have paged through this, right? With the thumbnails. You know, there's like the face. It's a broken game. And then, you know, of course I get fake mad at it, like, right, what? Broken game, what? Fairies plus dinosaurs equals broken game. That's actually not clickbaity, because this combo is actually true. It was posted up 7 years ago, right? But I mean, there's a bit of this like big giant letters. Absolute worst D&D character creation, taboos, and whatnot. 5 rules you're getting wrong. Click 5 rules I'm getting wrong. F you, dude. Click, let me watch it, right? And it's that kind of thing. I'm a fan. Why does it say subscribe, right? You know what I mean? And my point is that sometimes the anger, Olin Flynn, man shorts. Yeah, I did that. Let's go back to man shorts. Yep. Is it did I put man shorts, or did I type in D&D shorts? Oh, man shorts. There we go. Sorry, separate. 175,000 subscribers. Crazy, right? And the reason why I say it's our fault, and when I'm saying our fault as a society, is that we are an outrage culture, and Hasbro and WotC, oh man, they gave us so much outrage fuel. It's crazy. And I mean legitimate fuel, right? Like, how many times have we been like Pinkertons and OGL scraping and haircut firing of the staff, and I mean it goes on and on, right? It's crazy how many horrible corporate financial decisions we were privy to. Now, mind you, let's be honest, this happens all the time with business. You know, a business makes a bad decision and we go, why'd they make that decision? And then you realize that there were 30 other decisions more horrible than the one that they just released. Healthcare, anybody? Right? And healthcare in the States, anyone? Yeah. And it's crazy how much anger there was. And that anger actually helps fuel the algorithms. And it's real easy to go on and be like, you know, to make a video and go, he's ripping apart, tabletop is blah, blah, blah. I mean, who's somebody, this isn't a channel that, Roll for Combat. This isn't a channel that's shutting down, but I mean, you know, if we clock over to, there it is, latest from Roll for Combat. Why are D&D YouTubers dying? You know, look at it. Shocked face, you know, relatively attractive young ladies, shocked face, looking over the side. What's that about? You know, hey, oh no, right? And you know, thumbnailing it. And mind you, I did watch the video, and it's pretty long. I podcast most videos because I have that kind of job, and you know, legitimate concerns. And part of that is, are we still angry anymore? I mean, are these channels dying because we have not just moved past the anger of WotC and Dungeons and Dragons and corporate overlords and whatnot, but are we just like done with it? Are we ready to get back to like actually like playing some games? See, there you go. Yeah. The basic expert. Basic expert. Let's load this up here because you're talking about it. And I don't believe I'm subscribed, but I do catch videos every now and again. And it is very difficult without massaging the algo to get very far, right? This is the channel, base expert, 6,000 subscribers just over. Channel members, and look at this. A little bit of the face, but look, running the game. Is that an algo feeder? Not really. I mean, could say top 5 worst ways to run the game. You know what I mean? My three best practices you need to follow. You know, something like that. I got a video here, outdoor survival. That's not another video, incentives. That's not clickbaitable, right? Now you could go down a little bit. Here, Bob World Builder is wrong. Yeah, 18,000 views, right? It's crazy. Now, mind you, there is a bit of the scattering in the tabletop role-playing community, which this part of it is our fault, but it's a natural growth. Maybe some of these channels should have never been as big as they were. And this is an evening out of a thing. And like the stock market, right? You get those really high bumps of financial incentives for people to do things. And then it starts to level out. Sometimes there's a brand new television show and everybody's talking about it, and it spikes up the viewership, and then it drops back down to a more appreciable level. Maybe that spike, maybe the heyday of WotC shooting itself in the foot and all of us laughing, it's kind of faded away. Now we're kind of scattered to the winds, and it might be a good thing. Yeah, the WotC woke rage all starts from the false premise anyway. Because you are the one who does the world building, makes the plot, yep, house rules. How can a games company, affect anything in your game? And that's exactly right. I mean, take a look at the Basic Experts banner across the top here. You take a look at that banner. Let's see if I can name some of this shit, because it's crazy. We've got the Monster Manual from Advanced Dungeons & Dragons. Yep, because there it says Advanced Dungeons & Dragons. I know this Star Wars game is West End Games, WEG, West End Games, D6 Star Wars, which funnily used concept art from Star Wars, created background for that concept art, and then that canon flowed back into the movies. It was a weird origin for that. I don't know this 1684 or this dragon book in the background. I know this is Cyberpunk 2020. There's the Player's Handbook from Advanced Dungeons & Dragons. Oh, that's the Dungeon Master's Guide. And then there's a corner of a book. I can't get that. But I mean, just this Star Wars, West End games, Cyberpunk. I mean, there's a lot of role-playing games that didn't get a lot of that attention until WotC basically said, hey, everybody, why don't you look to play some other games? And now we've scattered to the winds. Over on this channel, we talk about Blades in the Dark. We talk about Powered by the Apocalypse, talk about older games and whatnot, and maybe we needed to do that. Maybe we needed to talk about Call of Cthulhu and some of these other pickup games, and what's Dread, and Terrible RPG, and Feng Shui, and I mean, we could go on and on and on. Traveler, and 10 Candles, and Microscope, and I'll never name all of them, but I was trying to find ones that were as strange and bizarre as possible. And even the OSR, which has always been strong but limited in its attention, gained a lot of attention through Shadow Dark, which was over $1 million Kickstarter. And Kelsey Dion herself even mentioned that she was hoping for like $10,000, and it was an over $1 million Kickstarter because some people were just fed up. I talk about ICRPG, the Index Card RPG, which is a extremely basic expert Moldvay styled BECMI, simple Dungeons and Dragons, and now you don't even need to spend money at WotC to get your full game. Level Up Advanced 5th Edition, me being part of that development of Tales of the Valiant and a whole lot of other games. MCDM's Draw Steel, wow, I couldn't remember that. Critical Role is doing their own game. Daggerheart, there's so many games out there. Brandon Sanderson's Cosmere, which is being released pretty soon, which I backed as well. Crazy. And so this separation is diluting these channels that have shut down, because they're not getting it. It used to be put D&D in the title and you're going to get millions of views, essentially. Maybe you're going to get a lot of views, tens of thousands of views, maybe. But some of those big channels were getting 4-digit views, 3,000, 4,000, 8,000 views. And when you're trying to raise money for projects and pay people behind the scenes, and believe you me, they're paying a lot of people behind the scenes for what looks easy in front of the camera is paying a lot of people behind the scenes. And it can be difficult when that revenue stream dies off. And I think part of it dying off is our fault. It's the clickbaity rage machine. Sometimes you just get tired. Sometimes you don't have enough anger. You're like, yeah, I know, WotC's terrible. Click, you just ignore it, right? You don't even click it, you just ignore it. But the other part is, 5 great dungeon build, Dungeons and Dragons builds, and someone's going, oh, yeah, I don't play that game anymore. I'm doing Cyberpunk, so I don't care. We've seen this before. Sometimes channels that do like beginner materials, like how to make a campaign, how to build a character, how to, choose a monster, how to make a dungeon. After a while, your class starts to they will graduate out of your classroom. And yes, you're a professor of 2020. Oh yes, thank you very much for bringing this up. If you're doing beginner stuff, 101 things in 2021, 22, 2023, by 2025 now, have they left? Maybe you've taught them everything, and so now you need new people. And is Dungeons and Dragons bringing in as many new customers as they used to? I don't know. Maybe they're bringing in new customers into other games. And WotC, by shooting itself in the foot, a lot of those big personalities, Critical Role, Matt Colville, all the other people, Guy Flanders from How to Be a Great GM, and Man Shorts, and D&D Shorts, and some of these channels, those personalities should have been recruited in some way, shape, or form into the highest echelon that we know as tabletop role-playing games, which is Dungeons and Dragons. They should have been on the staff. They should have been recruited to say, hey, we should have a great, and that used to be the highest echelon. Like, hey, if I get hired there, I've made it. Now, everyone's going their own way. But yes, solo play videos are still picking up steam since 2022. Solo gaming is huge. Solo gaming is very huge, which is why I have designed Obsidian Star as a solo. It has a solo gaming component to it, so that I will be able to basically have fun with Obsidian Star, which I'm 30 something pages into carving it down into something that's legible, but it's there. Matter of fact, I might even, I might even share it out. It doesn't look like anything. It's just a Google Doc right now, but yeah, I'll put it up here. Matter of fact, is this too big? Yeah, it's. Yeah, that's Obsidian Star. That we are all 33 pages, Google Doc pages. We're all creators. We all think we're game designers. This is my heartbreaker, my sci-fi heartbreaker, and there we go. And yeah, trying to design a tabletop role-playing game. This is based on another game called Substratum Protocol, which has it's under the Orc license and Creative Commons. So, and I've heavily modified it, but it's still there. It's still there. But yeah, I mean, it's the kind of thing, right? Like a lot of these large YouTube channels, they're not trying to go mainstream in the sense of being hired by a mainstream company. Actually, the next goal now is to go your own way, to make your own, to have your own Discord, your own ecosystem, your own ecology, your own economic engine running to support yourself and your fans and be part of the geek culture and be part of the tabletop role-playing game scene by making your own rules and going that way. And that seems to be the new norm. How many of those people that basically got laid off and fired from WotC and Hasbro and Dungeons and Dragons over the years, you know, Monty Cook and as a representative, Matt Colville as a representative of many of these designers that have gone their own way and are making their own thing. So yeah, anger, maybe we're just not angry anymore, or maybe it's a little ridiculous to be angry for like 2 years plus and just like, it's like, okay, you start to take a look at the thumbnails of some of these creators and you're like, all right, enough with the bashing, right? Like, why don't you make something, why don't you be creative and create something that isn't about tearing down somebody else's materials? And that's a really easy way to turn me off from someone's channel, right? Yeah, and then there's also the other part, right? Like, there are some channels that, like politics, I could agree with everything you say, but if that's the only thing you're talking about, it's just like, oh, they suck, they're woke, they're this, they're. After a while, I'm just like, dude, shut up. Just can we get back? It's like trash talking in sports to me. Trash talking is fun till it isn't, and I'm a graybeard. I'm a man of a certain age. Just like, shut up. Words don't mean anything in team sports to me at all. When I see trash talking, I'm like, stop being a child. If you want to shut up trash talking, close your mouth and then be better than the person that's across from you. That's how you shut down trash talking, right? And there's whole YouTube channels dedicated to bullies and trash talkers who get to knock the F out, right? That's a real thing. And I think in gaming, we are a tabletop role-playing game. In the tabletop role-playing sphere, the idea that you make a channel based on trash talking Dungeons and Dragons, trash talking political trends, trash talking economic. Ooh, it just flared up. Sorry. Just trash talking the industry is kind of like saying all the food I've eaten is horrible, and then you never tell anybody what's the best thing. I went to this restaurant, it's horrible. I went to this other restaurant, it's horrible. I ate this thing and it's horrible. And the person that's watching is like, okay, I get it. You've got 83 videos talking about how horrible everything is. Show me something good. I think that's probably it's kind of our fault, right? We feed the YouTube algorithms, we feed the trash talking, we feed the anger mill, the clickbait, we feed those things, and those things help Dungeons and Dragons grow. I mean, Dungeons and Dragons was being mentioned on financial channels about the OGL, and when they start to scrape it back, and these what was the other channel? Legal Eagle was mentioning the OGL, the OGL SRD from WotC and that effect and stuff. Hey, Drew. yeah. Don't worry about it. This week is just generalization. We'll get back to the norm, but this week is generalization. But yeah, this is the Obsidian Star document that I finally have evened down, and it's got a pretty strange and unique system to it. I've focused this game down quite a bit as well. For example, right here is the game starts out with the premise that you're on a starship called the Obsidian Star, because that's what the game is called, of course. And then there's the truths about the game as well. You know how you have like your like, what is the world about? You have to have all that BS at the front of it, like be a star, explore the sys, and it explains that kind of thing. Salvage data cores, zip into your jacket, ask the hard questions, and there's blank space in here. And of course, you have to have the what is a role-playing game, or at least what is this role-playing game, and then what's the setting. And I love quotes that exemplify a thing. So, like, for example, this is a quote from Maya Angelou from her The Caged Bird, or sometimes referred to as why does the caged bird sing, and some of the dichotomies in this science fiction setting. And then it goes into some historical things like the Hume diaspora, a lethal void, which is how dangerous space is, the Fourth War, and a quote from one of my favorite rock bands, Coheed and Cambria. They're still around too. And then what is Kess, and swashing? What's swashing? Basically piracy. And why is there swashing, things like that. And then talks about the data cores. And we are our own aliens. There we go. That should have been capitalized. We are our own aliens. Which is why there's no aliens in this system. I mean, in this game, or in this setting. Whoa. And then economics about money and that kind of thing. The ice, ducats, ducats, ducks, bricks, dole, basically welfare and dole. Why does UBI exist? Clout. And then in the game system. Let me get to I'm going to page to what the game, like the system itself, and then I'll go talk about other things. So I know you guys are mentioning things. There's capabilities, 6 capabilities. I'm probably going to change them to approaches, back to the approaches, but there's capabilities. Oops, I didn't. I figured I'll change all that. There it is. What you do and how you do it. Travel rules. Anyway, there you go. Hey, Drew. Our documents all came along quite well in recent weeks. Hope I can release it this year. It's awesome. Can't wait to see it. Yeah, absolutely. I love being inspired by other people's creativity. I love it. Oh, Coheed and Cambria. Yeah, very, very sci-fi oriented. Do they have their own website? They sure do. Coheed and Cambria Mastodon. Get out of here. Tickets. There we go. Yeah, Coheed and Cambria. Only because they're very their albums have always been, not all of the albums, but there was a series of albums that was telling the story of a science fiction story. Is kind of cool. Be careful about quoting lyrics. I think that's something one can get sued over. Really? I thought it was about attribution. Like, I'm not... I'll look it up, because I always thought, like, poetry or quotes from people in general, if you quote and give the proper attribution, you're okay. But I don't know. I'll call my central character traits aspects, since they're all about who the figure is and not what they can do. I love that. I love being able to massage tabletop role-playing games, and it's like, no, it's not really about what you can do. It's not that you're strong or quick or fast or intelligent. It's like what you're about, or like sometimes your motivations. Like, are you motivated by greed or hunger or anger or jealousy or pride or honor? Or are you motivated, are you being quiet or loud or wild or careful or something like that? And I love indie tabletop role-playing aspects. Yeah. But yeah, this there's an interesting Substratum Protocol has an interesting mystery gathering thing in it. So I still have the 2D12 thing going on. You have capabilities, and they are rated from D4 up to D12. D12 being better than D4. And you grab one, and so in order to perform an action, the game master, the administrator, the admin says, okay, you're trying to modify some kind of electronic device. And so the admin says you must use this capability, and then the player combines that with another one of their capabilities. And so they grab both of those dice, and what they're trying to beat are the numbers on 2D12, and those 2D12 dice are not added together. And if they beat none of them, then not only do they fail, but they get a complication. If they beat one of them, they get to keep one, but there's also a complication. And if they beat both dice, they get to keep both dice. And when they keep those dice, they keep the number, and whether it was something known as an epiphany or an enigma. And one's good, one's kind of bad. So an epiphany is kind of good. There's no complication to it. It's not bad. And enigmas are like questions, and both of them together are called discoveries. So the 2D12 are discovery dice, and that's the dice rolled by the admin, and then all the other dice are rolled by the players. So you're trying to beat that number, and as many times as you beat the number, you start collecting those into the character. So I like the idea that what you roll now can be used for later. So as you collect those, you can then use them, expend them basically for other things, for your equipment and assets and things like that. So you can expend them. So you make capability rolls because you're capable of doing things to acquire discoveries, and you get those discoveries, and the discoveries are like the mechanical version of collecting clues to find like the data cores and get yourself out of trouble and uncover plots and things like that. So, and you expend those to uncover plots and whatnot. I kind of like the system. So yeah, and it's 33 pages of this stuff. Yeah, it's out there. It's a lot of it. Some of it is 2-columned whatnot. I was trying to crunch it down and whatnot, but yeah. And there's different kinds of actions in the game, of course, like, a confront action or like a convince action and whatnot. I didn't make these up, so I got them from the SRD. But yeah, anyway, and whatnot. So, yeah. So like if you're going to confront something, like, it doesn't have to be combat. It could be like confronting someone. But anyway, if you want to confront someone, like defend, attack, or hold strong, then you're going to use your break plus another capability, and you grab both those dice and add them together. For me, if I was the game master, the admin, I just roll 2d12, but I'm not adding anything together. That you have to beat one or both of those numbers to get what you want. That's basically long and short of it. And of course, we have orbits and complications and being prepared and boosting actions and blah, 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 blah. It goes on and on and on. We're trying to get to some of the fluff here. Session play. I put in a ton of page breaks, planetary arcs and traveling, and let's get down to like, there we go. That's why it's 33 pages. What a zipper is. Like, for example, here's The Sound of Silence from Simon and Garfunkel. And it, you know, a quote. Now, I'm gonna look that up. He sued. Yes, one can be sued for using a song lyric as a quote without permission from the copyright holder, as lyrics are considered copyrighted material, and using them without authorization can be considered copyright infringement. However, the legality depends on the context and whether the usage qualifies as fair use under copyright law. In certain situations, using a short lyric as a quote may be considered fair use if it's used for commentary, criticism, or parody, and the amount used is minimal relative to the whole song. Using a lyric for commercial purposes, like on a product or in advertising, without permission is more likely to result in a lawsuit. Yeah, I get that. To avoid legal issues, it's generally best practice to seek permission from the copyright holder, usually the songwriter or music publisher, before using any significant portion of a song lyric. One more. I'm gonna read up one more thing. Music publishers are vigilant about protecting their rights, particularly when someone else might be making money by using their songs. So does that mean authors should skirt danger and avoid using song lyrics altogether? If you secure permission first, you can quote song lyrics without worrying. Here's a helpful article listing the steps you need to take to get in touch with song publisher. My understanding is that it is a universal rule for all IP. You are allowed to use up to 50 words from a copyrighted source before permission is needed. I don't think that doesn't sound right. That's the rule we follow for academic publishing when it comes to quoting books or articles. I would imagine the type of publication and content wouldn't affect the legality. Can't say for certain. The RIAA are traditionally a-holes, so they may have lobbied for different rules for songs. Okay. All right. Fascinating. That's cool. Yeah. Oh, man. Arcane. Such a great book. The Dark Sentencer. I love The Dark Sentencer. Yeah. The Dark Sentencer, The Gutter, The Broken, In Keeping Secrets of Silence, In Keeping Secrets of Silent Earth 3 is another one. Welcome Home. That opening guitar riff is always a favorite. That boom 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 boom. Yeah. Great. Coheed has a great mastery of like blending. They have like basically three types of songs. They have the stadium anthem songs, the ones that everybody rocks to and repeats the chorus, and does the chanting. They also have the middle album rock songs, and then they have the ballad, soft spoken, thoughtful songs, I guess you could say. Kind of like three of those. yeah, if you quote stuff for analysis or critique purposes, that is allowed. If you put in a game, copyright infringement, but note is not a lawyer. Well, my point in putting the quotes is it is a descriptor of a thing. So I wonder if I would be in legal protection. Like, for example, because I could get in trouble right now on YouTube, but like this quote from The Sound of Silence talks about the zipper, the zip drive, the cortical stack in people's brains. And, you know, hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again because a vision softly creeping left its seeds while I was sleeping, and the vision that was planted in my brain still remains within the sound of silence. I think kind of describes what it's about. So I think I'm transforming it a bit, because I doubt Simon & Garfunkel thought about post-humanism at the time. So, I mean, and that's the point of it. It's like most of the World of Darkness games use quotes. I could probably, well, I have to walk away, but most of the World of Darkness games begin each of their chapters with like a quote from a book or a song or something like that. I don't know how many song lyrics they've done though, because that's pretty. Anyway, it's fascinating how much I could write while also falling a rabbit hole here. I am at 251 pages, but it is only book sized in A5. Yeah, not full size, A4. Yeah. I haven't got dug deep into my Affinity, which was gifted to me, which I'm so happy that it was gifted to me. So proud. Thank you very much there, Gregory. The World of Darkness books used to do it, but I think the reason that they stopped a long time doing it because they got in trouble over it. That makes sense. Do you really think you could possibly get in trouble with legal action from a real person, as opposed to algorithms simply flagging snippets of stuff you talk about? Yeah, it's usually algo related, right? Like usually that's what happens. It's like it gets snatched up, and then it gets forwarded to a real person. So I mean, how many times my channel has gotten flagged for little things here and there, for algo flagging purposes. They've disappeared, but I don't really talk about it because I get the fact that it wasn't a person that did it, so I don't bother. It's not the algorithm. D&D is dead and WotC killed it. Old DMs like me are going old school. Long live Gygax. Yeah, I mean, hey, listen. First of all, thank you for curving us back into the subject matter. But yeah, I mean, I feel like, and please correct me, I feel like some of the channels that are disappearing were built on and got big because WotC fueled that anger. I can't blame someone for saying, hey, listen, I'm earning 100% of my money, and now my money's been cut by 25%. F this gig, right? You're right there, Anon. But yeah, you're wrong. You're right. You're wrong. No, you thought you were wrong, but you were mistaken, because you're actually correct, right? Now, you know, on the opposite end of this, right? Like, there's this whole substrata of let me close this out here. There's this whole substrata of gamers out there that are just like, there we go. See, I knew it was going to come up. See, this whole strata like, well, because WotC was wrong, there's, you know, Gygax was right, and the old school way is the right way. And I'm like, yeah, you can't really police how other people play a game. It's using the same technique to do the opposite thing of people that you don't agree with, and I think that's pretty dumb. Yeah, I think it's pretty dumb. It's just like, I can't believe the woke culture is trying to change my goblins and whatnot. Like, come on, you can't, I think it's pretty ridiculous, right? Because it's again, it's our own fault. If you play your game where your goblins and hobgoblins are just evil because they're evil for evil's sake, it's no big deal. But there's other people who over the years is there's things over the years that don't matter anymore, right? Like, for example, when players are like, well, I want to play a goblin, a hobgoblin. See, here's the thing. It doesn't matter, right? You can't police the way other people play a game. Either Drew, or you're wrong, because I'm picking on you two because you're here. Two things can be right at the same time and wrong on the other side. Right. Bioessentialism matter. Here. Let's get on the same page. Bio. All right, hold on. Let's see what this says. Bioessentialism is the idea that a person's nature, personality, or certain qualities are innate and natural, rather than shaped by society, culture, or upbringing. It's often used to describe the belief that some groups of people are naturally inferior to others. Bioessentialism is often used in a derogatory way, and is sometimes used interchangeably with biodeterminism. Biodeterminism is the idea that genetics and physical components control a person's behavior. And the argument about that has come from the idea that it depends on where you rest, right? Because we can, you know what, we'll even go to this tomorrow. Are goblins and goblinoids in fantasy people or monsters? So if they're monsters, like a cat or an elephant or a spider, and when I say monsters, meaning that despite the fact that they've got arms and legs and they kind of like humanoid-ish, they aren't human, then depending on how you play your tabletop role-playing game, combined with mythological histories, meaning like goblins and gremlins, and these things were considered the physical embodiment of like greed or anger or whatnot. It's not really bioessentialism. They're just monsters, right? A spider is a spider. You can't train it, or its nature doesn't change based on where it's at. It'll always be that way. And so that's one aspect. Like in the Lord of the Rings movie, the Uruk-hai are not human. They were spawned through the world. Now, here's the opposite end of that, this argument, that because it can be looked at as simplistic because they are pure evil, and other people say, well, no, they have personalities, because over time, players have wanted to play goblins and hobgoblins and orcs and whatnot, and add some more nuance, because sure, you can kick in the door and start killing things. And the argument, I think the two biggest arguments against the fact that goblinoids are pure evil, and I'm going to get to your comments in just a minute, so hold on to me, I'm making an argument here. The argument against just making them, well, they're just evil, is players want to play those characters as complex, therefore it's a little bit disingenuous to go, well, my character has a complete real personality determined by myself, but all the other ones are just evil. So it's like it doesn't equalize itself. And the other part of it is it forgives sociopathic tendencies. I bring up people in the Borderlands, which one of the first adventures, and is used as a template for adventuring and dungeon crawling. And in it, they have goblin and orc and hobgoblin and kobold children and women and pregnant versions of themselves. And players, if they go, well, the book says they're evil, I'm going to go kill them, says more about the players than the game. And myself, I don't want to play with people who want to take joy in living out sociopathic, hey, I get to murder kids and women because the book says they're evil. And so that's where the dichotomy comes in. I don't think you're wrong either way, because I mean, you know, that's the kind of thing. So let me get to your comments. I apologize for that, but I had to lay out the foundation of it. Yeah, 2 rights to make it wrong. Oh. Yeah, problem with biology. Yeah, sure, biology is a factor, but yeah, and that's kind of difficult, right? Because you're playing this is tabletop role playing related. This is not humanistic related. We as human beings have complete dominance over our biological and instinctual tendencies. Okay, and I was just going to get to that point. It says, D&D is a game of adventuring heroes that slay monsters, not a platform that's modern, edgy. Yeah, but here's the thing. That's... You can't... None of us can gatekeep the other person. For example, you can't tell me that that's what it's about. Just like I can't tell you what yours is about. You can't gatekeep other people's fantasies and dreams and creativity, right? So I can't be wrong. Now that's my point. You can't use the same argument. Two sides can't use the same argument against each other at opposite sides of the spectrum. Yeah. Well, it says exactly DB. Okay, so let me read your comments out, because I want to honor your comments here. So You're Wrong says, okay, dude, you've lost the plot. I get you. I don't disagree with you on that. D&D is a game of adventuring heroes that slay monsters, not a platform for this modern, edgy need to live out fetishism. The problem is some people want to live it out. I'm not saying for you're wrong. You're shit. I'm not saying you're wrong. You're wrong. I'm saying that some people want to live out. What is it? Furries, fluffies. What are they called? The animalistic anthropomorphism and things like that. Some people want to live that out. For some others, for me as a world builder, I know the difference between, for example, let me use mythology and things like that. That those creatures are pure evil because they were spawned from the deepest reaches of humanistic decadence and whatnot, and they were spawned as man creatures that have grown and blah blah blah. Yes, I can do that in my world building, and then at the same time go, well, this other group, they are misunderstood because they have a full culture and language and food and music and things like that. Now, hey, the elves may hate them and hunt them down and think that they are bestial, but in my world they aren't, because for me, despite the fact I know the difference between those two, for me, human beings have always killed each other since the beginning of time, and we have so many examples of why one group hates the other group that you could very easily go, you know why one group hates the other? Because they just don't like them. It doesn't mean that they're evil. It could just be they're just bad. They've been driven that way, right? It doesn't bother me. I can, because as pointed D&D, that is Gygax's vision for his game. So, you know what? Hammers are supposed to be used to hammer nails into structures like wood. Hammers are used for a whole lot of other things. WotC's going broke pushing this stuff. No, they're going broke because of bad business practices. I will say you are right, because they are trying to push it, but they're also a business trying to earn money. And now I'm not saying that it's smart or not smart. People are only mad at wokeism because it's using very simplistic methods to garner sympathy with other groups of people to earn money. I can name for you plenty of excellently designed and created intellectual properties out there that are woke as AF, and no one has said anything about it. You know why? Because it was created with excellence and design. So it's not that everything out there is woke and pushing an agenda and blah. No, some people are just really good at creating things, and as a byproduct, allow me to name some things that no one has a problem with, that in its aspect has always been woke. So I'm going to name Arcane, the animated television show, would qualify, I think, into the wokeism category, right? I would say that Star Wars, the original Star Wars, was very much in that category. I would say that, I know there's some, oh man, I'm pulling this out of my ass. The X-Men. If you go to X-Men's past, it's full of people from every culture and women and different mixed genders and all that kind of. X-Men has like always been that way. No one has a problem with it. You know why? Because it was created excellently. Businesses are kind of stupid. Business practices are kind of stupid. They're just like, well, how can we earn money? We're just going to make somebody, that's really the problem, right? It's not the fact, it's not being woke, it's doing it horribly for the sake of just doing it. That's what it is. And people are just mad about that, right? But here's the thing. So what? Right? Like, I love tabletop role-playing games. Do you really think the origins of tabletop role-playing games had anybody that represented anything of me and my people and my skin color and my culture? No. Even to this day, there are people, and I've been told to my face that no, that doesn't mean role-playing's bad. It just means that it was just closed-minded. So yeah. It's just one thing. No one wants to be. It's very difficult for people who are cemented in their way of thinking to think that the other side is also right. We are a tribalistic. We have a tribalistic mindset amongst each of us, and we're trying to tribalize other people's imaginations, and it's literally impossible. You can't do it, right? And the anger now is, well, now I have to scrape out all the wokeism out of my tabletop role-playing game, and it sucks. And no one has considered, well, previous to that, this game doesn't have any space for me. Now I've got to add that bullshit in there because no one considered not putting it, making space for it, right? It's the opposite. And there's space for both, Yeah, and I don't disagree that they're going broke pushing this stuff, but yeah. Fantasy races were often far more allegorical than literal, and losing that rhetorical device would be a huge step back. I think losing it would be I don't think it would be a huge step back. I think losing it would be bad. I don't think it's a step backwards. I think it's just a step sideways. I mean, that's how I've always looked at it, right? It's as one world builder, yeah, they're allegorical. It's just like what is it? The lower planes, right? In Dungeons and Dragons, lower planes. The planes of chaotic evil, chaotic neutral, lawful evil, neutral evil, and all that kind of stuff, right? All those planes of existence are the physical embodiment of a way of thinking, and those monsters from those places, they're not good. They'll never be good. They are the physical embodiment of evil, and why not? But then you get players that are like, yeah, but I want to play a dark elf, and I want to play a goblin, I want to play a kobold. What do you tell them, right? It's like, well, now that you decide to do that, oops, you just upended everything. What do you tell those players? Now, mind you, in your world, you can say, well, hey, player, you know, skip rocks, right? Like you don't get to play a goblin or a kobold or a bugbear in my world because they're literally evil, you know. But also, you know, if I'm sitting in a table where I see a player who's getting giddy because he gets to kill, you know, goblinoid children, it's just like, ugh, that rubs me the wrong, because that says more about you than the actual thing, right? It's just funny. It's like, why would you don't even have that? Oh, you're funny. I would say WotC is not pushing it hard enough. They still get plenty of times with their pants down when it comes to stuff like Slip By, like the Hidden News disaster. Exactly, right? Yeah, and I don't think it needs to be pushed. I think you just need to be a great creator. Great creations push itself, and that's the problem. They're not hiring. They literally haircut and fired people who had great ideas. Guess what? We've seen videos where people are like, you know what, the Dungeon Master's Guide and reviews of the Dungeon Master's Guide, and now they're going into the new Monster Manual, is actually pretty good, because the creators were just like, fuck it, they're going to fire me. I'm just doing my greatest thing. So if you're a great creator, a lot of times the things that you think you have a problem with are usually forgiven. WotC's just throwing everything at the wall and seeing what sticks. I agree with that. D&D is just the elephant in the room, so he gets the brunt of it. Yep, absolutely. Stories about moral dilemmas by their very nature can't be pushing an agenda. I agree with that too. Now, mind you, was it a good idea to keep on the Borderlands and the Caves of Chaos to have pregnant orcs in there? I don't know if that was a good idea, but it's in there, so what do, right? Yeah, Arcane even has a trans character, and they even got a trans actor to voice the role. Yeah, I know, right? I love it. Gelatinous cube. Yeah. Yep. I love Arcane. Yeah. Without the ability to consider things allegorically, you're left with a stunted ability to consider other interpretations and viewpoints. I don't disagree with you. I agree with you very much so. And to be honest with you, like the Planescape Outer Planes is a game setting that actually built around allegories, right? And you know how problematic are like all the goody two shoes in the upper planes, you know, in Dungeons and Dragons. It's like the fully embodiment of that. Now here's another issue when it comes to making like all goblinoids always evil, right? And that is the more we interpret them as having a culture by accident, the more we start interpreting them as having a culture on purpose. So and what I mean by that is I don't like Arcane or League of Legends. You're allowed not to like it. I think it's excellently crafted and written. I've never played League of Legends, don't know it, never knew of it. I heard of League of Legends tangentially, and then when Arcane came out and most people were just like, Arcane really isn't League of Legends. Arcane just took it and twisted it and things like that. Yeah, but I mean, you know, if you're in your own mindset, you're fine. It's just that you can't police other people out of their own mindset. And role-playing games, it doesn't matter what the creator intended. The tool is being used for something else. So the tool's being used for something else, whatever, right? That's just going to be art. It will always be interpreted by the people, not by the creator. That's just a byproduct of the creative process. So, yeah, I love this stuff. Yeah. I would like it if our hobby could be the one pushing the envelope, but with all the reactionary folks around, we usually can only look at how animation does that. Yeah, and you know what? People are just scared. Like, people get pissed off at comedians for pointing out things that they don't like. Science fiction was always the safe place to go for allegories. And now people are like all pissed off at it. Okay, perfect example. Star Trek was always the place to go that pushed the boundaries of speculative fiction. And the point of the Federation being a utopia was that we had already solved the problem. but we're going to make aliens a reflection of humanity because the aliens have the problems. Now, that has changed. But guess what show was completely woke and is one of the best shows on television that aired? The Expanse. Has anybody looked at The Expanse? That show's full of that shit, and I love it. You know why? Because it was written well. It's art, you know. Yeah, but you're looking for the identity politics. I feel like if you're going to look for it, you're going to find it. Politics is in everything. Even if you say it's not in it, that's a political position. Science fiction and fantasy has always been political. Always. It has always been a reflection of some kind of point of view about the world. J.R.R. Tolkien wrote The Lord of the Rings as a reaction to World War I, World War II, something like that. Yeah, it's always been that way. Yeah, it's always been, fantasy, art has always been a reflection of politics. It's always been a reflection of a moment in time and the events, whether it's like things happening in the environment or politically or economically or whatever. Yeah, it's always a reflection of that. Art has always been. So you can't remove it. Now, a great storyteller, a great creator can always massage the message through their creation, but it's in everything. It is literally in every piece of art you will ever see, bar none. Yeah, and allegories are great. Allegories, metaphors, similes, all that kind of stuff is great for storytelling, right? And it's a way to reflect back on ourselves. It's a way to otherize our issue so we get to see it from a different point of view. And other people's fantasies don't bother me. It's so what? Okay, great. You in your world you want to kill goblinoids. Okay, that has zero impact on my ability to make my goblinoids complex monsters that have their own culture and whatnot. That doesn't mean that they don't get murder killed on the norm. It just means that maybe we should think about it a little bit differently, right? Yeah, the Expanse, a sci-fi show, they were murder killing people all the time for all kinds of reasons. That didn't mean the show was bad or that the creators were wrong. Hey, you gave them personalities. You're stupid. No, he gave them personalities and was just like, it's crazy, right? It's like Star Wars. Stormtroopers were faceless bad guys until you started making them real people with like kids and personalities and don't kill me and stuff like that. It's like, yeah. Ironically, Tolkien hated. Yeah. We human beings have a hard time not understanding that other people may not understand our point of view, and they don't have to. No one has to. And not only that, role-playing allows us to live all kinds of lifestyles. And just because my murder-killing fighter, are we upset that I can't murder kill goblins, or are we upset that I have to feel guilty about murder killing goblins, right? Like which one is it? Is it your politics is making me guilty and feel bad about it, and you're trying to make me feel bad about it, or whatever, right? It's like, yeah, but it's an art that tells a story of that kind of thing. Do you want to tell a story of just heroes defeating evil? Sure. Or do you want to tell a story of heroes who come to a conclusion about solving an issue that may not require murder killing? Dungeons & Dragons is about murder killing, though, so because it doesn't really reward you for doing anything else. So yeah, I would say the good art is always at the forefront of social change. I mean, being conservative does not lean towards to create something new in the first place. I hadn't thought about that. Yeah, because it's more traditional. It's more about upholding thing. Oh, see, I'm a traditional person until you replace it with something better. So I don't know. Yeah, and when it's obvious. Yeah, when you just create something bad, it's just bad in general. it's not hard. It's not that the idea isn't good. It's just that it was just executed horribly. We've seen that happen so much, like with Star Wars, right? Hey, great early Star Wars, horrible late Star Wars, but it's still the same thing. It's still the same IP, except, you know, if you make a great character, that's why I brought up the X-Men. If you make great characters, people just look the other way. But the X-Men is full of powerful, forward-thinking leadership women in powerful positions with great storylines. They just happen to be a lot of females. No one said it. No one has said anything about. No one has, to this day, has complained about. Oh, it's woke because they're just all ladies. The X-Men are full of those characters, full of them. No one says a thing because the thing was make a great character. Oh, by the way, the character is also blank. And we've seen horrible things about that, like when they, like a television show will just be like, you know what, we're going to make this character, fluid, right? And you're like, wait a minute, but that wasn't the character, that's not the character you made. And they're like, yeah, well, we're going to change it now because we want to put this character in there, instead of just making a good character, and then the side effect of that good character depiction is, oh, by the way, there's something. I've always hated, you guys have heard me, I always hated the token black person in the movie that dies in the horror movie, right? It's like, okay, stop with the token character. Just make a great character. Yeah. Hot female characters do no wrong. Stop. Stop it. They were hot female characters. Excellent. They did a lot of wrong, though. There were a lot of wrong that they were just as bad, not worse than every other character too. So, but anyway, guys, we'll talk about this going on through the week, because I think it's a good subject. Because the idea that we have, you know, when we have classic tabletop role playing standing powerfully, and there's a lot of, don't get it twisted, there's a lot of people that really want to go back to the more traditional, I'll say, Dungeons and Dragons style of gaming, kicking in the doors and killing the evil monsters and taking their stuff. And I kind of don't have a problem with that. But I also like complex stories where players have to engage socially, and economically, and politically with complicated cultures that also might look different with different, like, what is it, plastic on the ears and faces and mouths and the teeth and stuff. And I like both of those. So, and I think there's space for both of those. So anyway, guys, now which side does a corporation choose? They chose one side in the beginning. Now they're choosing the other side. And it seems like it's very difficult to pick that middle ground. Although I think there's an easy way to find an answer to that. So we'll answer that tomorrow. So guys, have a great one. Thank you very much for being part of the show. Thank you very much for finding the channel. Shit. I didn't think it would go out and find you guys at all, because I took that huge break. So anyway, bring your thoughts, bring your opinions. Let's talk about it. Defending your position, but also do it in debate style. You know, defend your position, but be open-minded about other people's positions as well. So, yeah, we had a little tension there, Drew and Wrong, but yeah, we can handle it. We can handle it over here. Yeah, this is why Arcane's the way it does over sexualize. Yep, exactly. Females as regular human beings? What? So stupid. Nowadays it's all like Sausage Party. Like, I can't believe they put a female in there. It's like, really? 50% of the population? I don't know. So stupid. Anyway, we'll get to it. Guys, have a great one. I'll see you later. Peace. Tranquility. Bye. But, hey, do I have an outro? I don't think I have an outro. Yeah, I'll throw this shit as the outro.